I went to my boss and said to him, I'm going to go do this crazy thing, and I'm going to start this company selling books online. And this is something that I had already been talking to him about in a sort of more general context. But then he said, let's go on a walk. And we went on a 2-hour walk in Central Park in New York City. And the conclusion of that was this. He said, this actually sounds like a really good idea to me. But it sounds like it would be a better idea for somebody who didn't already have a good job. So I wanted to project myself forward to age 80 and say, okay, now I'm looking back on my life. I want to have minimized the number of regrets I have. And I knew that when I was 80, I was not going to regret having tried this. I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not ever having tried. And I knew that that would haunt me every day. And so when I thought about it that way, it was an incredibly easy decision.
You can have a job, or you can have a career, or you can have a calling. And if you can somehow figure out how to have a calling, you have hit the jackpot, because that's the big deal. If you're going to do anything new or innovative, you have to be willing to be misunderstood. And if you can't tolerate that, then for God's sake, don't do anything new or innovative.
$0 to $224 billion. A garage in Seattle to the world's everything store. This is how Jeff Bezos cracked the code to wealth and built an empire that changed how humanity shops, reads, and computes. January 12, 1964, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Jacqueline Guys, a 17-year-old high school student, gave birth to Jeffrey Preston Jorgensen. His biological father, Ted Jorgensen, was a bike shop owner and circus performer who would have no part in his life. When Jeff was 4, his mother married Miguel Mike Bezos, a Cuban immigrant who'd arrived in America at 16, alone, speaking no English. Mike adopted young Jeff, giving him his surname. It was Mike who would become Jeff's real father, the man who taught him that cleverness and determination could overcome any obstacle. Jeff showed unusual focus early. At age 3, he tried to disassemble his crib with a screwdriver because he wanted a real bed. His grandfather, Preston Guys, ran a regional office of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission and owned a 25,000-acre ranch in Texas. Jeff spent summers there, fixing windmills, castrating cattle, learning that hard work wasn't something to fear, it was how things got done. He devoured science fiction. Star Trek obsessed him. He built contraptions constantly. His high school girlfriend remembered visiting his room. Electronics everywhere, wires hanging from the ceiling, projects in various states of completion. Jeff wasn't just smart, he had $0 in his pocket but rich in ideas, already understanding that the future belonged to those who built it. At Miami Palmetto Senior High School, Jeff was valedictorian. But what stood out wasn't just his grades, it was his vision. In his valedictory speech, he talked about building space hotels, amusement parks in orbit, and colonizing planets. His peers thought it was cute kid stuff. Jeff was deadly serious. Summers, he worked at McDonald's, learning about operational efficiency. He noticed everything: how long it took to make a burger, how customers moved, where the bottlenecks were. Most teenagers flipped burgers, Jeff studied systems. At 16, he started his first business, the Dream Institute, an educational summer camp. He charged $600 per student, made a few $1,000s, his first taste of entrepreneurship. Jeff went to Princeton planning to study physics. Sophomore year, he hit quantum mechanics and realized he was good but not great. So he switched to electrical engineering and computer science. If he couldn't unlock the universe's secrets, he'd build the tools that would. He graduated summa cum laude in 1986 with a 4.2 GPA. His first job? Phitel, a fintech startup. Then Bankers Trust, working on computer systems. He was learning the intersection of technology and finance, understanding how systems could be optimized, how inefficiencies created opportunities. By 1990, at 26, Jeff joined D.E. Shaw and Company, one of the first hedge funds to use computational power for trading. Within 4 years, he became the firm's youngest senior vice president. But in 1994, Jeff stumbled upon a statistic that would change everything. Web usage was growing at 2,300% per year.
Hi there, who are you?
I'm Jeff Bezos.
And what is your claim to fame?
I'm the founder of Amazon.com.
Where did you get an idea for Amazon.com?
Spring 1994. Jeff is a senior VP at D.E. Shaw, pulling in a high six-figure salary. He's 30, married to Mackenzie, a novelist who works at the firm. Life is comfortable, prestigious, secure. But that statistic won't leave him alone. 2,300% annual growth. The internet is about to explode, and whoever builds the infrastructure to capitalize on it will become unfathomably wealthy. Jeff creates what he calls the regret minimization framework. He imagines himself at 80 years old looking back. Would he regret leaving a secure job and missing a Wall Street bonus? Or would he regret not being part of the internet revolution when he saw it coming? The answer is obvious. He tells his boss he's quitting to start an online bookstore. His boss thinks he's insane. They take a walk in Central Park. His boss tells him, this is a really good idea, but it would be an even better idea for someone who didn't already have a good job. Jeff quits anyway. He and Mackenzie pack their belongings into a 1988 Chevy Blazer and drive west. They have no office, no employees, no product. Just an idea and $300,000 from their savings and his parents' investment. His parents put in $245,573, nearly their entire life savings. His mother later said, "We weren't betting on the idea, we were betting on Jeff." Now, before we continue into the garage where Amazon was born, take a second. If stories like this inspire you, stories about vision, risk, and building something from nothing, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We break down the minds behind billion-dollar empires and the principles that built them. Now, let's step into that garage in Seattle, 1994. July 1994. Jeff and Mackenzie arrive in Seattle and rent a house in Bellevue. The garage becomes the first Amazon office, literally. Jeff builds the first desks out of $60 doors from Home Depot with 4x4s as legs. Cheaper than real desks, and when you're bootstrapping, every dollar matters. He hires his first employees, Shel Caffin, a programmer, and a few others willing to bet on this crazy idea. They sit on the floor writing code, building the website that would become Amazon.com. Why books? Jeff had analyzed 20 product categories. Books were perfect. 3 million titles in print, but no physical bookstore could stock more than 150,000. Online, he could offer everything. Plus, books were easy to ship, hard to break, and customers already knew what they wanted. The name? Initially Cadabra, until his lawyer misheard it as cadaver. Jeff flipped through the dictionary and found Amazon. Exotic, different, and the largest river in the world. Perfect for the largest store. They launched on July 16, 1995. No press release, no advertising, just an email to friends and family. Within the first month, Amazon had sold books to customers in all 50 states and 45 countries. They'd shipped $12,438 worth of books. The garage office couldn't handle the growth. They were packing boxes on their hands and knees, racing to the post office before closing. By the end of 1995, Amazon had a revenue of $511,000. Not profit, revenue. They were losing money on every sale, spending it all on growth. But Jeff had seen the future, and the future was big. (1996) Amazon moves into a real office, 2,000 square feet, then quickly into a 17,000 square foot warehouse. Revenue hits $15.7 million. Still not profitable, still burning cash, but growing exponentially. Jeff raises venture capital, $8 million from Kleiner Perkins. Then the bombshell decision, take Amazon public. It's only been 2 years. Most companies wait longer, but Jeff needs capital to grow faster than the competition. May 15, 1997. Amazon IPOs at $18 per share, raising $54 million. Wall Street analysts are skeptical. The company has never made a profit. It's losing millions. But investors see the growth trajectory and bet big. First day of trading, the stock closes at $23.50. Jeff Bezos, age 33, is suddenly worth $60 million on paper. Critics everywhere. Barnes & Noble launches their own website. Borders follows. Analysts predict Amazon will be crushed by these established giants. Jeff's response? Amazon isn't a bookstore, it's a customer company that happens to sell books first. He pours every dollar back into growth. Revenue in 1997, $147.8 million. 1998, $610 million. 1999, $1.64 billion. Each year, bigger losses. Each year, faster growth. Wall Street doesn't understand this model. Jeff doesn't care. He's playing a different game. Land grab first, profits later. By 1999, Amazon's stock hit $106 per share. Jeff's net worth, $10.1 billion. Time magazine names him Person of the Year. He's 35. The skeptics grow louder. Amazon.bomb, they call it. The company is burning $1 billion annually with no profit in sight. Then the dot-com bubble bursts. March 2000, the Nasdaq peaks, then collapses. Amazon's share price dropped from $106 to $6 by late 2001. Jeff loses $80 billion in net worth, the largest single-person wealth destruction in history. Analysts predict bankruptcy. Employees are terrified. Vendors demand cash up front. But Jeff had prepared for this. While other dot-coms spent wildly on Super Bowl ads and parties, Amazon had built real infrastructure. Warehouses, technology systems, customer relationships. They weren't profitable, but they were real. Jeff makes brutal cuts, lays off 10,000 employees, 15% of the workforce, closes distribution centers, renegotiates contracts. Every expense is scrutinized. Q4 2001, Amazon reports its first profitable quarter, $5 million in net income. Small, but proof that the model works. Jeff had understood something Wall Street hadn't. Amazon wasn't just a retailer, it was a platform, a logistics company, a technology company, a data company. The stock slowly recovers. $15, then $30, then $50. Jeff's strategy, sacrificing short-term profits for long-term dominance, is vindicated. In 2003, Amazon finally turned an annual profit, $35 million on $5.3 billion in revenue. Tiny margins, but sustainable. The company that should have died is thriving. (2006) Amazon has a problem. They've built massive computing infrastructure for holiday shopping spikes, but it sits mostly unused the rest of the year. Jeff sees an opportunity. What if they rented out that computing power to other companies? Fast forward to March 2006. Amazon launches Amazon Web Services, AWS. Simple storage, computing power, databases sold like electricity. Use what you need, pay for what you use. Initially, it's for startups who can't afford their own servers. Dropbox, Airbnb, Netflix, they build on AWS. But then enterprises realize, why maintain expensive data centers when Amazon does it cheaper and better? AWS grows quietly. By 2010, $500 million. By 2015, $7.9 billion. By 2020, $45.4 billion. Here's the kicker. While Amazon's retail business operates on 3 to 5% profit margins, AWS operates on 30% margins. It becomes Amazon's profit engine, subsidizing retail expansion worldwide. AWS alone is worth more than most Fortune 500 companies. The side project becomes the main profit driver, proving Jeff's philosophy. Experiment constantly because you never know which bet will pay off the biggest. Jeff's vision was never just books, it was everything. By 2010, Amazon sold electronics, clothing, furniture, groceries, cloud services, and was building a device business. 2007, Kindle launches at $399, sold out in 5 hours. Jeff's pitch: we want to make the physical book disappear. 2011, Amazon Prime hits 10 million members paying $79 annually for free 2-day shipping. Analysts called it financial suicide. Jeff called it customer lock-in. Prime members spend 2 to 3 times more than regular customers. The strategy was simple: make it so convenient, so fast, so cheap that customers can't imagine shopping anywhere else. Lose money if necessary, dominate first, profit later. 2013, Amazon buys Whole Foods for $13.7 billion. 2014, Amazon Echo and Alexa launch. 2016, Amazon Go stores, walk in, grab items, walk out, automatically charged, no cashiers. Each move expands the empire. Revenue 2010, $34 billion. 2015, $107 billion. By 2020, $386 billion. Jeff's net worth, $224 billion by 2021, making him the richest person on Earth. While building Amazon, Jeff never forgot his high school speech about space. In 2000, he founded Blue Origin with a simple mission: millions of people living and working in space. He funded it personally, $1 billion per year from selling Amazon stock. No investors, no public pressure, just patient capital pursuing a 50-year vision. Blue Origin developed reusable rockets methodically, gradatim ferociter, step by step, ferociously. July 20th, 2021, Jeff flew to space aboard New Shepard. 11 minutes crossing the Kármán line. The kid who dreamed of space hotels finally touched space. Space wasn't a vanity project, it was a long game. Earth is finite. Humanity's future is infinite. January 2019, Jeff and Mackenzie announced their divorce after 25 years of marriage. Mackenzie had been there from the beginning, drove cross-country while Jeff wrote the business plan, packed boxes in the garage, supported every risk. The settlement? Mackenzie receives 25% of their Amazon shares, worth $38.3 billion, making her the third richest woman in the world instantly. Jeff keeps 75% and voting control. It's the most expensive divorce in history, yet remarkably amicable. The divorce costs Jeff $38 billion, but barely dents his empire. Mackenzie gives away over $14 billion to charity in 3 years. She remarries a science teacher. Jeff begins dating Lauren Sanchez, a helicopter pilot and entertainment reporter. They get engaged in May 2023, planning a future together while Jeff focuses on his next ventures. Years earlier, 2013, Jeff had made another unexpected move, buying the Washington Post for $250 million in cash. Jeff applies Amazon principles: invest in technology, optimize distribution, experiment relentlessly. He doesn't interfere with editorial but transforms the business model. Digital subscriptions explode. By 2016, the Post was profitable. By 2020, it's thriving. Millions of subscribers, breaking stories, winning Pulitzers. $250 million investment, now worth over $1 billion. Both moves reveal the same pattern. Jeff approaches personal matters with the same cold calculation he applies to business. Emotions are secondary, outcomes matter. The machine keeps running. $224 billion net worth. An empire spanning retail, cloud computing, entertainment, space travel, and journalism. But the cost? Amazon warehouse workers report brutal conditions, timed bathroom breaks, crushing quotas, injuries. Drivers urinate in bottles to meet delivery deadlines. Jeff's response? Efficiency matters more than comfort. Congressional hearings on monopolistic practices. Amazon is accused of using seller data to create competing products. Jeff testifies but changes little. Minimal philanthropy, less than 1% of his wealth donated compared to peers. Critics say he hoards wealth while employees qualify for food stamps. His relationship with his 4 children remains private, carefully shielded. The man who built everything struggles with the human cost of his empire. Think long-term. Jeff's superpower is patience. While others optimize for quarterly earnings, Jeff thinks in decades. The regret minimization framework isn't just about career choices, it's about every decision. Will you regret playing it safe when you're 80? Customer obsession. Jeff's religion is customer centricity. Not competitor obsession, not product obsession, customer. Amazon's entire culture is built on this. Every meeting starts with an empty chair representing the customer. What would they want? That's what we build. Embrace failure. Amazon has failed spectacularly. The Fire Phone lost hundreds of millions. Amazon Destinations, Amazon Local, countless products died. Jeff's response? Failure and invention are inseparable twins. Big successes require big failures. Most companies fear failure. Amazon treats it as tuition for future success. High-velocity decision-making. Jeff divides decisions into two types. Type 1, irreversible, need careful analysis. And Type 2, reversible, make them fast. Most decisions are Type 2. Most companies treat them like Type 1, becoming slow and bureaucratic. Speed matters more than perfection. Leverage infrastructure. AWS wasn't the goal, it was excess capacity repurposed. Jeff constantly asks, what assets do we have that could serve other purposes? Your biggest advantages are often hiding in plain sight. Accept brutal truth. When Amazon's stock crashed 94%, Jeff didn't sugarcoat it. When workers complained about conditions, he defended efficiency over comfort. When critics attacked his wealth, he didn't apologize. Brutal honesty separates builders from talkers. As of early 2025, Jeff Bezos' net worth, $224 billion or more. Amazon's market cap, $1.7 trillion. What started in a garage with $300,000 created an empire worth over $2 trillion across Amazon, AWS, Blue Origin, and The Washington Post. From $0 to $224 billion. From packing books on a garage floor to running the world's everything store. A multiplication of wealth that defies comprehension. What drives him now? At 60, Jeff stepped down as Amazon CEO. He focuses on Blue Origin, climate initiatives through the Bezos Earth Fund, and enjoying his wealth, $500 million yachts, mansions in Beverly Hills and Washington, D.C. But the childhood dream remains: space, not as a tourist, but as an architect of humanity's future. While SpaceX aims for Mars, Blue Origin targets orbital habitats, millions of people living off Earth in rotating space stations. It sounds like science fiction. So did an online bookstore that would replace Walmart. So did cloud computing. So did 2-hour delivery. Jeff has earned the right to impossible dreams. Getting rich is super easy, Jeff might say. See the future before others do. Sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term dominance. Obsess over customers. Think in decades, not quarters. Accept that you'll be misunderstood for years. And when you find something that works, scale it relentlessly until it's impossible to compete. From $0 to $224 billion. From a garage to global domination. The boy who dismantled his crib built an empire that dismantled retail itself. And he's not done. Space awaits. And the game continues.